morning. This is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 4 and episode number 381 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Cryon Media Network. Yeah. Little jazzy. I'm feeling jazzy. I'm in a good mood.
All good in the hood. I'm a jazz guy.
Today, recording day is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. And I'm not quite sure what day it's going to be today at the Beaver Lodge. Yesterday, we ended up having a little bit of absolutely everything. So I guess let's call it a Forrest Gump day. The weather is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. There you go. So, I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, hey. And with me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. And a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have a quick one for you today. But before we do anything else, Mr. Grizzly, how's your mental health today, sir?
Major improvement over yesterday. I can tell you
Yay.
Thanks to last night, some self-introspection and ASMR where I get a chance to talk it out and sort of air it out, if you will. And a good night's sleep helped. Went to bed quite early and abstained from any alcohol because when you're feeling low like that, that's the worst thing you could do because alcohol, after all, is a depressant. So I'm on the Guinness Zero for the time being, and I'm happy with it because it tastes like a Guinness. But it doesn't, it has no alcohol. So, going on the real big physical and mental health kick right now, trying to get myself into top shape so I can be my best and do my best and give my best at all times. So yeah, I'm doing good. Although, allergy wise, I'm sure you hear it in my voice.
Yep. I even see it in your eyes.
Yeah, I'm suffering right now. The pollen is so bad. You know what? Here's the thing though. You didn't know me 10 years ago when I looked like death warmed over. It was like constant draining of sinuses. It sounded like this, and I was coughing, sneezing. My eyes were like 10 years ago. I was way worse than I am today. So trust me, incremental improvement, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, good stuff. Great mood here. Very busy week here at the Beaver Lodge because, as you know, Mr. Grizzly, I am in a play. I auditioned for 3 plays that originally were supposed to be at 3 different times. This was supposed to be this time last year. But for some reason we lost our venue, and so we had to delay it a year. And then We Will Rock You, which we just closed, was supposed to be auditions last August for a show in October. And they too lost the venue because they actually tore down the school where the auditorium was. somewhere. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but I think they found something wrong with the school at one point, and they decided, well, we were gonna tear it down in 2 years, so let's just do it now. And they're building another one. So somehow they managed to be scheduled all at once, which is why I have been rather hectic since about mid-December. So when the show closes on Saturday, I am finally, after about 4.5 months or 5.5 months, going back to regularly scheduled Beaver life. Which is already busy enough as it is. But yes, when we're talking about mental health, I'm going to have to do a couple of things for mine as well. There are... I'm going to have to lighten the load a little bit. So there's certain commitments that I've taken that I might have to be stepping back from. Nothing with regard to the show, because it's be able to make time to do this right, rather than doing everything haphazard. Because the last few months, Kits and Cubs, I'm not sure if it has been showing, because I've been trying to do my best. But there's a few times that I'm here and I'm just like, literally holding on, like bare knuckling the handlebar, just because I'm not always as prepared as I would like to be, because there are only so many hours in the day and you do need sleep. So I'm going to be looking forward to getting back to my usual quality. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. All right, Kits and Cubs. In the news, relatively slow news day.
Lots happening, but nothing.
Yeah,
There's a
things are
million stories,
progressing.
right? A million
Right.
stories, but
There's the
nothing
Rive Can
earth-shattering.
story, and there's, and like I said, there's a whole defense story, because Bill Blair was out doing some types of talk there. And then there's the whole Honda story, because
Honda?
the Honda, they announced a while ago that they were building not only an electric battery plant, but a whole electrical vehicle plant to go along with it. So the announcement, they had one big announcement, but it seems that there's like 4 smaller plants, or like one big plant and 3 other smaller plants that are being announced. So yesterday they were announcing the second plant. So the first one, I think, was in the Niagara region, and I think this one is in the Port Colborne region in Ontario. But this one will be will have I believe they said it was lithium ion separation capacity or something, which is a little different. Yeah, I'm going to have to ask the Beaver Sweetie what that's about and get back to you. Fortunately, I know a guy. So
Yes, you do. You do indeed.
Ooh, speaking of that, oops, sorry, my thing just went fuzzy. Speaking of that, the Beaver Sweetie actually did go into the lab yesterday, because up until now it was sort of like all the pre-lab stuff, like going to get your picture and making sure you get your fob and making sure you got your safety training, because, well, it has been 3 years, even though he knows that you got to take your refreshers, right? And all of that kind of stuff. And then it's sort of like, oh yeah, it's like, where's my old stuff? And then he found his old stuff, and then it was and then it's like, okay, he still has some samples, but then you have to order stuff.
Legitimately, like the first day of school nervousness, right?
Yeah, but it's like, but the first day of school is about like 10 days, because in the meantime, right, he's doing the final revisions to the paper,
right,
like this, and he's not teaching this semester, but the second semester in the summer session. So he's not teaching May, June, but July, August. He's doing his course preparation for that. So it's sort of like, but the other day he was sitting there and he was going like, "Gee," it's like, I thought I'd be started going off to the races by now. It's like you don't walk the first day onto the job and it's like, hey, like this. I just cranked out a marketing plan. It's like, so the password for your new computer. It's like, oh, okay, this is the pace we're going at. Okay. So he's like a racehorse, he's just like science. Yeah. I love him. He is so cute. People are never more attractive in the magnetic sense. Could also be in a sexy sense, but in a magnetic sense. Then when they're doing something at which they're good, and they know they're good,
Right.
and they're doing it confidently, you just watch them go. It's like, damn, look at you. Hey, when you're watching somebody who really knows how to cook,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you're just like, I could just watch you cut. Because sometimes it's just a thing of beauty, right? So yeah. So everybody needs a chance to shine. Yes, Kit Argosy Acres, science for the win. So yeah, there's all this news, and one of those little bits of news was the Prime Minister was out to make an announcement on childcare. I believe it was yesterday. I believe he was in St. Thomas. I'll have to check that out. And he had like $200 million. Yes, exactly. St. Thomas visit. Oh, and this picture. Oh my God. Okay, I have to show it because this is amazing. This again. This is how you know he's a dad.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I saw another one last year in the campaign where he was like holding a baby while somebody was making there was a woman at the podium that was talking, and he was actually holding a baby. It was another childcare announcement, and he had mothers all over the internet going, "You can tell he's a dad, and he's not faking it. Look, he's got the hip pop. He's got the he does like this where the baby's resting. It's like you can tell he doesn't he's not just like holding the baby. He does this in real life.
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's like it's not all Sophie. So it was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like ask a mom, they'll know, right? Yeah, Kit Michael right there. This looks like my face when I first got to my daughter after her commencement on the weekend. I saw the picture. That's one proud papa. I'll tell you that. So yeah, he was out in St. Thomas making that announcement, and according to the London Free Press, the federal government will increase funding to help Ontario families access childcare. Visiting the Station View YMCA Childcare Centre in St. Thomas, Trudeau said Ottawa will invest more than $200 million to build new childcare spots across the province amid continued efforts to lower the cost to parents. Quote, we'll invest over $2 million in childcare infrastructure, creating more spaces and greater access for Ontario families. This investment will help Ontario reach our goal of creating 86,000 new childcare spaces by 2026. So, there you go. According to the article, 8 out of 10 provinces have reached the $10 a day average already.
Wow.
The plan was for that to happen in 5 years. So the provinces have bought in. So this is interesting because I think PP had a little bit of I'm going to take that away. But if 8 of the 10 provinces are already at the $10 and people are already experiencing it, and it seems that the provinces, if they accelerate it, because the provinces, they know how to misdirect money.
Oh, yes.
So if they're already doing it, they must see the economic case for it.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. So Ontario still isn't there, though. 8 out of the 10. And one of them is not Ontario, the largest one. The one that would generate the most economic boom for the entire nation. Just letting the economic opportunity go by, just giving 8 of the 10 other provinces a competitive economic advantage. The Doug Ford parade of incompetence marches on.
We need to address something from just yesterday, actually. I understand there was some mistakes made in some of the numbers for that you're reporting on for wildfire. I don't know. Yeah. I think you said something along the lines of 98 million square kilometers, which is not possible because there's not.
Sorry.
Square kilometers.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, some of them you had made it happens.
I
right?
think I added a 0. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So somebody sent a message regarding that in yesterday's show, and I was like, "Huh? What? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I see what you're saying."
Well, hectare is 10,000 meters square.
It says, let me see here.
Oh,
I'll just read back the.
did I say kilometers?
Yes, you did.
Oh, meters
Yeah.
square.
It says, according
Sorry.
to Douglas, Canada has burnt from coast to coast 10 times this year already. Weird stuff around here. 1 hectare is 2.4 acres. Canada is 9.9 million square kilometers. 3.5.
I'm so sorry.
3.5 million. 3.5 Canaders are on fire by fun.
I am so sorry. Meters, not kilometers.
Yeah. So
Meters.
So I put a note in it. It's just notes. It was comments from yesterday's show. I said mistakes were made. We will be happy to correct them. And I had when I was listening to it last night, because I was tied up. I wasn't really taking full part of the show yesterday, but I was listening to it. I'm like 98 million square kilometers. I'm like, he can't be right about that. That's got to be off. I think 98 million square kilometers is a lot more.
And I was so confident when I said it.
It happens. Had I been there, I would have right away said, don't you mean meters?
Because I made sure I got so I didn't carry too many zeros. Because I really made sure I got the math right, because I thought that the number was really impressive. And I sit there.
98 million square kilometers, I think, is how big is planet Earth?
I had the K to the M. Oh my word.
Mistakes are made. That happens. I knew you'd get a chuckle out of it. But I was listening. I'm like, what?
The whole world's literally on fire.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah. So I did put in, if you look at the comments from yesterday, they were not rude. They were just, well, according to your math.
Thank you, whoever submitted the gentle correction.
Arnie Pedersen. So thank you, Arnie.
I gladly accept it. Oh my God. Jeez.
Canada is a total of 9.9 million square kilometers.
Yes.
So yeah. Things happen. Mistakes are made.
And this is why, kids, we don't exaggerate.
If I told you once, I told you a million times. Don't exaggerate.
Oh my word. I love it. Yes, Caitlin, I have the giggles. Hey, you know what? When I mess up big.
If you're gonna go,
Jeez.
go large.
Kid Vim, it's okay, Douglas. When I was doing my taxes, I used a calculator for 2 + 2.
Oh boy. That's
I'm sure that was within the sequence, right?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. Who needs rails, right? I'm sorry.
It's funny. I mean, it's good for a larf. Good for a larf, eh? Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. All right. Okay. So since we're talking about wildfires, according to the CBC, the blaze in Fort Nelson is continuing to grow in size and in intensity. It forced a complete evacuation of the community, and the situation has been complexified, if that could be a word. I don't know if that's a word, actually. I don't know if I'm taking a French word and turning it into something English. But it's becoming more complicated by the fact that another wildfire coming from the south has forced the evacuation of the Doig, I believe it is, River First Nation. I might be mispronouncing that. And it's possible that Fort St. John will be next. And that would be again, another layer of complexity, because Fort St. John is the place to which everybody in Fort Nelson and from the Fort Nelson First Nation evacuated originally. And that was already full, so people were going to Grand Prairie instead. So it looks like, if Fort St. John has to evacuate, all of a sudden now we've got we've got about 4,500 people that have left from Fort Nelson, and then everybody from Fort St. John, all going somewhere at once.
Wow.
Needing places to go.
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot of coordination.
Yeah. Definitely have the dedicated individuals who will certainly help with that.
Yeah. So, John Roper, who's a Fort Nelson City councillor, who's now sheltering in Grand Prairie. He says, "It all happened very quickly, but I'll say that you know that we were prepared to leave just when the conditions and the predictions for the hot summer came along. It wasn't a huge surprise, but it happened." And this may soon become an annual thing.
Mm. Yeah,
The annual packing of the bags in April to be able to bolt at a
that's rather
moment's
sad
notice.
when you think about it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's, like I said, there are things changing, you know, like when like I said, when I heard the first Alberta NDP leaders debate and the first question was about water and water management. And now people are talking about, you know, emergency preparedness, always having something ready to go as soon as the spring comes. Life is changing. Life is changing. In Alberta, there was some light rain and some favorable winds that helped fight out of control wildfires outside Fort McMurray. That blaze, according to, I guess, I'm not sure if this is late last night information or early this morning information, is about 65 square kilometers in size. While wildfire fires are working on another growing fire outside Grand Prairie, which is just about 4 kilometers from the hamlet of TP Creek. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty scary. The fire in Fort McMurray has not grown in size, fortunately, because of those conditions. It's still holding at about 6,500 hectares, but officials still consider it out of control. But there is some forecasted rain, so crews are hoping that that will help over there. So, yeah, this is it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Remember, again, kits and cubs, if people need to be able to access information and they have low bandwidth, www.cbc.ca/lite, L-I-T-E, low bandwidth service. Make sure that people have the ability to stay connected to information, because situations like this change very, very, very quickly. Right? Wind behavior, you just never know. All right. In other news, Mr. Grizzly, do you have anything?
Well, we have an announcement to make.
Yes. I had forgotten about that. Yes, please.
So you
do
know
you
how
want
we've
to take this?
discussed. Well, I'll give the lead up, and then you can.
Okay.
I'll give the wind up and the pitch, and you can hit it out of the park. So you know how we've discussed having a mental health walk, capital M, capital E, capital N, mental health walk, to raise awareness about how men suffer from having the lack of outlets and places to discuss how they're feeling and what they're going through. So we decided to stage a mental health walk on June 15th, which is a Saturday, the day before Father's Day, which I think is fitting because fathers are men and they need help too. And we'd like to see men either, it's their choice whether they want to become fathers or not, of course, but we'd like to see them grow to ripe old ages instead of shuffling off this mortal coil by their own hand. So that's why we want to raise awareness about men's mental health, because I think it's something that doesn't get nearly enough focus. Mental health is getting more focus, which is good. It's great, but I'm really going to lean into men needing it because I'm very clearly a man, and it took me forever to open up. I mean, I suffered in silence for almost 40 years. I don't suffer in silence anymore. I still suffer. And here's the thing, because I was so ensconced in the keeping it quiet, keeping it hidden from anybody, put the mask on. Even when I'm suffering, I don't show it to people. But I might say, yeah, I'm just in a bad place right now, which is a huge step. You know, and I'll talk about it on the ASMR. So that's why, and it was our buddy Pete in Australia who went on a 25-kilometer mental health walk, and I said, well, we should do something like that here. So I suggested it, and we came up with the date of June 15th. We're trying to assemble it and put it together. And guess what? We're going to be doing it June 15th It's just going to be 5K, maybe a little under 5K. We're going to loop around Centertown, the site of the occupation. We'll start probably, I'm thinking, at the Museum of Nature, go down Gladstone, all the way up Bank Street to Parliament Hill, up around the hill, back down, maybe into the market. I haven't mapped it all fully out yet. And then we'll finish at the Lieutenant's Pump, where we'll do a Saturday afternoon pubcast.
Can we walk up along the canal and maybe come up the bridge to get to the pump?
Sure. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that. We'll cross over.
Mm-hmm.
We can cross over at Rideau and walk along the canal on that side, and then take the Lovelock Bridge at Ottawa U over, and then boom over onto Elgin Street and down out to the pump.
Yeah, I didn't think it's the Lovelock Bridge. Yeah.
I'll plot it all out. So we're gonna come up with a T-shirt design, and we'll have them on the merch store if anybody wants to purchase them. We haven't got it done yet, but it will come along soon. We'll have a T-shirt up, so if you want to purchase it, it'll be the first, hopefully annual. And maybe we'll say first and put hopefully in parentheses annual mental health walk. And I'd like to do it every June Saturday, the day before Father's Day. I think that's a fitting time to do it. And we had reached out to someone we had on the show a little while ago who was a big advocate for talking about mental health and is very open about the struggles that he's faced and how he's doing much better. And sir, would you like to knock it out of the park for us, please?
All right. So we had been talking about this and plotting and scheming, and I finally had some time to act on it. So I wrote somebody with whom I had, I guess we could call it a business interaction, in order to get to this guest on the show the first time. And I said this: "Hello, it's Douglas from the True North Eager Beaver podcasts. I hope this finds you doing well. I'm writing to ask you if you'd be so kind as to present," I will leave the name out for the moment, "with the following opportunity. A few weeks ago, our friend Pete in Australia, who designs our graphics, participated in a walk for men's mental health called Spoke to a Bloke. The goal was to raise money for peer support programs that encourage men to share with each other, given many studies show that men report having nobody to talk to when they go through tough times. As you know, at the start of every show, we ask, how's your mental health doing today? So we thought this was a good idea and wanted to do something similar. We decided to organize an informal True North Eager Beaver mental health walk to take place in Ottawa on the afternoon of June 15th. We would gather at a spot downtown and have chosen about approximately 5-kilometer route down sidewalks and walking paths, no street closures required, that a group of listeners will walk together. Then we will stop at a local pub to do a live broadcast of our monthly podcast, no politics, just pub chat, and perhaps have some musicians. We hope to raise a little money for a yet-to-be-determined organization via donations from our listenership across the country. The reason for which we are writing is that following the broadcast of our interview with his wife had written to us via Twitter to express compliments for our effort and to suggest we eventually do a second interview with them both to talk about, among other things, issues pertaining to men's mental health. We think that such an interview could dovetail well with our very informal, quickly put together first-year effort on a walk. We would be most pleased if the senator and his wife would be willing to agree to a time for such a conversation to occur. In addition, should one or both be interested in having a greater role, we'd be happy to accommodate and excited about the opportunity to collaborate. If they would like to say a few words at the walk itself, prior to it, after it, or both, if they'd like to be named as official patrons of the walk event, if they would like to chat with us on the pubcast on the day of the event, we can ensure that the segment of our episode, though it takes place in a pub, is dry, out of respect.
Yes.
For current campaigns.
Absolutely.
We are open to whatever they'd be willing to contribute. Thank you so much for your consideration and assistance. With deep appreciation, True North Eager Beaver. So that's what we sent out. Now, if you've been paying attention, you might know who it is because I dropped a little hint. Yes, I did. I purposely dropped a little hint. Senator, indeed. So the response we received from the office of Senator Patrick Brazeau. Kits and Cubs. Good morning, Douglas. I hope you're doing well. What a wonderful idea. Senator Brazeau and Mary Claire are excited to join the walk June 15th. They'd be both participating in the podcast and would be delighted to have an interview as well that day. Looking forward to the event. Have a wonderful day.
So we're good to go, kiddos. Mental health walk. We should come up with a proper name for it, though. Like, not just mental health walk. It's
I like mental health
well,
walk.
yes,
But the
capital
MEN, capital N, yeah.
MEN. Yeah. We need to have a tagline: mental health walk for the men in your life.
We'll figure that one out.
We'll
If you
figure
have
that one.
if you have suggestions, kids and kids,
Yes.
please.
If anybody has a suggestion, please put it, and you'll get full credit for the suggestion if we use it.
Oh, Kit Linda, you should write to Margaret Trudeau too about it. This is right in her bailiwick. Oh my god.
Actually, you're right. You're right.
Damn. That would be something.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a great
Kit
idea.
Carroll.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Linda.
yeah. Thanks, Linda.
Let's
I
reach
need
out to the
I need
PM
make
as
a note of
well,
that. Yeah,
because he's a big advocate for mental health.
he is indeed.
Now I know I would not expect to get him, especially June 15th, the security detail and everything. But if you sent that same sort of letter out, something
Yeah.
similar to his office to let him know, look, we understand that doing this in this time frame is impossible. We get it, but perhaps next year.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, if he was involved, there would need to be street closures. And
Yeah,
stuff, right?
exactly.
I mean, it wouldn't.
Yeah, but it couldn't be the
Side streets
grassroots
couldn't-
thing.
No,
But it
couldn't
would be good for his office to know about it, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I mean, the fact that Senator Brazeau is coming out there, I'm like over the moon. When you sent me
Year
that email
one?
yesterday, it was like awesome.
Year one.
Well, and of course, like you said, he's a big advocate for mental health, and
He is.
has been for the last number.
But
of
it
years.
seems that his wife might be even more.
So. This is awesome. This is great news.
Our interaction was delightful, so I'm very much looking forward to meeting her, and she's very, very accomplished in her own right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So this is, I mean, we could have an interview with her alone just on what she does.
Oh yes.
So it would be fascinating. You have Kit Carroll here. It says, my mom died because of schizophrenia and years of being untreated because she didn't believe she was sick. This is very close to my heart. Carol, I empathize very much with you. My mom also schizophrenia. She was aware, but also died as a result of it. At one point, had a break, and which led to inducing a stroke, which eventually led to COPD, which led to. So yeah, it's I see you and I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Men not walking alone.
So mental health walk. Men not walking alone.
Oh, Kit, Mr. Jim.
I think that's it.
That's definitely a front runner.
Yeah.
The kids are amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously, they came up with mental health. They came with, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Yay, you.
We're just the conduit to get the message out there.
But I like this. Because there's like starting a project yourself. Like when we started this, it was just you and me together,
Mm-hmm.
and then now this is like, it's almost like a community project, right? It's like everybody's like throwing stuff in. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I didn't think I could do country, yeah. There you go.
That was a jazzy country, though. You got to put some twang on it.
Well, yeah, I could do that.
I like it. I love
it. I want some more of it.
That's country.
I was weaned on country. Jazz and blues on one side, country on the other.
We have both kinds of music. We have country and western.
Mr. Jim, you inspire us, Douglas. Thank you. That's very sweet. But no, Pete's the inspiration on this one. Pete's the inspiration on this one. His idea is going is going quite a long way. So, wow, I've let him know. Hopefully, he'll get the message soon. I haven't heard from him yet. There. Cassie, like, yeah, boot scoot and beaver. I love that. Okay, let's see, what else have we got here on I mean, that's really about it Canada wise.
Well, no, not really.
Not really, but I mean, there's nothing really juicy.
Well, I think this is kind of juicy. Let me put this on the screen for you. I think this is kind of juicy.
Oh yeah, Him. Sorry. I try not to think about these people.
Criminal trial of Freedom Convoy organizer Pat King begins with not guilty plea.
Yes.
Well, of course, you expect him to plead not guilty. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but would that be something? The first, okay, damn it, I did it. I already
did it.
served the damn time.
Yeah.
Just get this over with.
So yeah, his trial has begun.
Well, I
in
mean,
earnest.
Was there anything interesting? Because I mean, it's the thing is that Salonians say, feel free to share my picture. Oh, okay. If I can get it to the phone, to the computer, Kit Michael, I might do that because it's a beautiful picture.
If you DM it to me via the Twitter, I can share it.
Yep, I could do that at one point. So yeah, the Pat King trial started. I don't know if there's anything interesting in the article about something that's there, but
not a whole lot. It's just
yeah, I think the first day is usually a little more procedural and stuff, right?
The first, yeah, pretty much. This is this case. So this case is straightforward. Hang on, let me just move this so I can look better into the camera as I read it. This case is straightforward. It's not about politics. It's not a debate about the government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Long Jiru, Loignon.
What?
Jiru told the court.
Who?
Loignon. Emma Longyong Jiru.
Oh.
Lagnon Jiru?
Lagnon?
Lagnon. Okay, Emma, the Crown Attorney.
Okay.
She told the court Monday. This case is about Mr. King's conduct. She began the Crown's case by describing life in Ottawa during the Freedom Convoy, in quotation, protest, and the severe disruptions and nearly intolerable conditions residents of the city faced. The sound of air horns blared through the courtroom as she played an 11-minute compilation video to show the court some of the scenes she described, including streets blocked by trucks and crowds shouting, "Freedom and we're not leaving." The Crown's first witness, Victoria de la Ronde, answered questions about the fear and exhaustion she experienced as a blind woman living 6 blocks from Parliament Hill during the protest.
Yeah, I remember her testimony at the commission.
Yes. Once the protest began, she could no longer navigate the familiar streets around her home because big rigs and other vehicles blocked her way, she said. The audible signals she used to cross the street safely were drowned out by the blare of horns and rumble of idling engines, which kept her up all night. She described feeling trapped in her home, a feeling that still affects her more than 2 years later. She has only ventured out of her home on foot by herself a handful of times since, she said. She told the court, let's try that again. She told the court under cross-examination that she is a member of a class action civil lawsuit led by Ottawa lawyer Paul Champ against several convoy participants, which names King as a defendant. Given her visual impairment, Champ came along as a friend when she was interviewed by Crown Counsel ahead of King's trial, she said. De La Ronde previously testified before a federal commission of inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act. Several other witnesses the Crown intends to call also testified in the criminal trial at Tamara Leach and Chris Barber, 2 of the most prominent organizers of the convoy. None of the witnesses had any contact with King himself. The defense also intends to call evidence in the case. King's lawyer Natasha Calvinho, I think that's how I pronounce her name, Natasha Calvinho, said Monday, the court has set aside 3 weeks to hear the case. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right. Interesting. Thank you. Also, let's see. We've got a couple of minutes. I just want to make sure we end on time. All right. Another bit of news that came out of Alberta. It seems that one of the candidates for the NDP leadership has dropped out.
Oh,
because we mentioned this during the debates, right? They needed to reach some fundraising stuff, and we were wondering if they were going to remain in. If there was one that was going to, Anyway, according to the National News Watch, with Canadian and it's a Canadian Press article here, Alberta NDP leadership candidate Gil McGowan says he's bowing out of the race to replace Rachel Notley. McGowan says that the final installment of the $60,000 entrance fee proved to be too high a bar. His announcement comes as the New Democratic Party says it has just over 85,000 members, more than 5 times its tally in December. The party says it has never had so many members eligible to vote in its history. Notley announced in January she would be stepping down from the job, and the field of contestants has whittled down to 4. Raki Pancholi had dropped out earlier in the race. So, yeah, this is not the first, but the second one to drop out. In a statement Monday announcing his withdrawal, McGowan, who's the head of the Alberta Federation of Labour, celebrated the party's membership sales as great news. Quote, "This is a real testament to both the hard work and vision of all the candidates and also the strong desire among so many Albertans to build a viable alternative to the United Conservative Party." During a leadership debate Saturday, McGowan made a plea for donations. Quote, "If I don't raise another $50,000 soon, I'm toast," he said. Results of the leadership race are to be announced June 22nd. It is kind of interesting, when we're mentioning on the prairies how the NDP is probably a little more of the, like, traditional progressive conservative party that we knew when we were younger, more than an Ed Broadbent kind of NDP, because the one candidate that actually represents Labour is the second one out in a field of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Kit Cassie, I believe there was something like that. Did McGowan's campaign release a letter when Nenshi was mayor trying to label him a union busser, and it backfired? Nate at the breakdown had a thread about that. I believe I did see something that I'm not. I won't absolutely confirm that, but I do believe I saw something related to that at some point.
Okay.
The other big thing going on with regard to that is because a moment in the debate, the most recent debate, Naheed Nenshi referred to people on the other side of the aisle in the legislature as monkeys.
Yes.
Yes. Now, we'll show the clip of what it is. It's just 19 seconds. This strikes me yet again as another twofer part twofer. Because, yes, comparing people to monkeys and gorillas and whatnot in certain contexts can
Very, very bad.
definitely be super racist. But I've compared members of the opposition to howler monkeys.
So have I.
On the show, right? There is comparing it because it has something to do with skin tone, and then there's comparing it because it's behavior.
There's a difference.
So it seems some people are trying to run with the whole thing that there's something racist going on. But here's the thing. Breaking news. Canada, drop everything because apparently the Fuck Your Feelings party has some thoughts about some very big feelings it's experiencing because someone said monkey. You heard it here first.
Jody, you've been sitting opposite these guys, and I have been to question period a grand total of once in my life. And I was watching you and your colleagues and watching these monkeys on the other side. Can we influence them at all from opposition, or do we have to look beyond them? Jody, you've been sitting opposite these.
Yeah.
Now, you heard the audience reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go over well.
No.
I would not recommend doing that. It's right up there with basket of deplorables and all that kind of stuff. You don't do that, but he did. Because, no, of course, in this case, he's clearly talking about being in the legislature. He's talking about the opposition MPs and not the voters, but the voters do put them there. As a commentator, referring to them as a bunch of howler monkeys, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we already got trained seals, right?
Yes.
Because, or you could say rabid hyenas. So, but usually trying to compare people to animals when you're running for leadership is not particularly statesman. Exactly. It could be misconstrued. But clearly, the use of monkeys here is not in a racial context. Right? So
No.
you'll be seeing a lot of BS. This, right? Just a general BS alert. All right. Yes, we do need to class up our language. in an effort to be the first to the microphone and a camera with a colorful metaphor that will get attention, that to hopefully spark outrage or solicit engagement or whatever. Yeah, we sometimes are a little careless about the words that we choose. We're often a little careless about the way in which we approach each other. We assume the worst of their intent rather than simply first asking them, hey, what did you mean by that?
Yes.
Um,
I think it
you
was
know,
I understood what he was saying, but it was like, oh, dude, yes.
yeah, I guess we or we like to first engage in certain behaviors which attempt to put people on the back foot so that they're first defending, which is really, really, really abusive behavior.
Mhm.
Nobody should do that. Nobody should be trying to engage you in a conversation where they try to put you in a position of vulnerability in order to either intimidate, bully, or dominate you, and to either be being quiet or not talking about a certain subject because they don't like what it is that it is you're saying.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we need to be a little more careful with our words. And when we come to people, we need to learn to come correct.
Well, yes.
There's a way that people are supposed to, there's a minimum standard that people should be able to expect as being a living human being on the planet, to how other people will first approach them or engage with them or interact with them. There's a minimum respect. That's an entry level. Because if you don't come with that, you don't get to interact.
Ow.
Oh,
Knocked
right?
over my tripod and it hit me on the knee.
Oh no. Oh no. So yeah, be okay, kids. Especially if you have a life online now, right?
Yes.
Like this, if somebody is not coming to you correct, or somebody's just trying to put words in your mouth, so mute.
Hmm.
You have the power. Mute, block. Trust me, it's worth it. When somebody has an issue and they're trying to make it your issue, and you don't have the time or the inclination or the interest, don't take on the issue.
Indeed.
Just be too busy living your best life. Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do indeed, sir. We do
All
indeed.
right, kids and cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless, and you have the mouths from which we want the words to come. So please, please, please tell your peeps and poops all about us. If you would like to support us, you can. You don't have to miss a show because of the Ray Girl. If you scan the QR code that Mr. Grizzly will put there under my chin, that will bring you to our pod page, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And then you click subscribe there. When we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it'll come directly to you. And hey, if you want to have more beaver in your life, well, you can do that thanks to our merch store, where we got so much beaver. It's like a smorgasbord of beaver, a buffet of beaver. Ooh, a beaver buffet. I like that. That sounds naughty and delicious at the same time. If you scan that QR code under my chin, Mr. Grizzly's flushing, or go to etsy.com/ca/shop/TNEB merch store, all in one word. There you can get all the beaver your little heart desires.
Oh, and speaking of TNEB merch store, when we get the T-shirt design for the mental health walk, the proceeds from the sales of the T-shirts will go to a local mental health charity.
As well, yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. What else have we got for you? Oh, please make like Kit Elaine and go to our True North Eager Beaver page. There she is. Have a beyond awesome day, everyone. Remember to smash the button before you leave. Like, share, subscribe. True North Eager Beaver Media YouTube page. Click those buttons. Get us some happy. All right. And then, if you would like to support us in other ways, the QR code that's right by Mr. Grizzly's dome, that will bring you to our tip jar at our coffee page, coffee.ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And if you have a little bit of change there, if you'd like to support us, you like our cheekiness, we make you laugh, we make you smile. Hey, Someone scanned the QR code. Thank you. See, I just shake it and the QR code scan happens. Maybe
Thank
that's
you.
the trick. Maybe I just need to shake it a little more. Thank you so much for all your support. We really appreciate it. If you want to write to us, truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, stars and reviews, very, very appreciated. Thank you so very much. You've been putting us back on the charts again the last few days. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate that as well. Because democracy is something that you do, not if, but because it is, please, if you're in Alberta, get involved in one of the leadership races. And if you are in Saskatchewan or New Brunswick, please, or British Columbia, because you have elections coming in, please find out what it is that you can do. Maybe you can help at a polling station. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your eager beaver saying, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom, please.
I'm going to steal the line from, it wasn't his original, but it was the most memorable statement thereof. And it was when Barbara Walters first became an anchor on ABC World News Tonight back in the 70s. And she took a lot of heat because, what's a woman doing there? The late Barbara Walters. And it was the late John Wayne who, I had a lot of problems with that guy. But the late John Wayne sent her a letter. In the letter he sent to her, it said, "Dear Barbara, don't let the bastards get you down. John Wayne." That was it. So the guy, he was a problematic individual, but he really supported her because he knew she was good at her job. So what I'm saying to you today is don't let the bastards get you down. I know it's hard to keep your chin up sometimes. I really do, especially when you can get bombarded from 100 different ways today. So maybe if you need to unplug from social media for a little while, take some time for yourself. It's important.
Absolutely.
Self-care.
But not before you listen to Mr. Grizzly's ASMR.
Yeah, that might help.
And take a social media break.
And take the social media break. Yeah. Well, that's a mental health. That's a mental health improvement.
I'm shameless. Mr. Grizzly, cue the cock, please. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music. I know you got to go, so I didn't prepare anything for the Easter egg.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a quick one for you that I thought was kind of funny.
Let's do it.
Let me just, I clicked the wrong button. I'll bring this up and I'll blow it up. I'll put it on the screen and I'll read it out. It strikes me as odd. He's stumping. It's not, what he's saying isn't untrue, but at the same token, here we go. From the food professor. Only in Canada do you find individuals orchestrating boycotts against Canadian businesses, inadvertently benefiting foreign-owned retailers such as Walmart and Costco. Ironically, the very entities that compelled Canadian grocers to evolve into the powerhouses they are today.
I hate when he's right. I hate when he's right, but he's right.
He's right. But at the same token, those Canadian businesses, they are powerhouses, and they are gouging us.
Yes, but okay. What's your solution?
Yeah.
Okay, you've mocked us. Okay. Now steer us in the right direction.
Yeah.
If you just mock us, right? But if you think we're being stupid because we're doing this, and you somehow, that presupposes that you know the right way, then guide us.
Yeah, tell us what to
Don't
do
keep
then.
it.
Oh,
Don't keep
wise
it to
one.
yourself. That's how you know. It's like, even though it may be true, the intent is bullshit.
Yeah.
If you want to help, help.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, stop. Shut up.
Stop.
We don't. We're busy enough as it is.
Yes, exactly. I'm too busy to be mocked, man.
I don't have time. Nobody got time for that.
I gotta cook dinner. I gotta put on a show. I'm gonna play. I got stuff to do.
Exactly. I got to send you an invoice, actually. All right.
Yes.
Got to go.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
Have a great day, kids.